All right, what's going on, everybody? KB Card Stacks here, and I had my best weekend ever selling on eBay. It was absolutely nuts. Over $1,000 over a 3-day span. College football is back. Let's see what's sold. Let's talk about it, my thoughts, reactions, all of that. Let's run right through it. So, first one up, Talon Green, orange sapphire to 25. Beautiful card. I've had this for a very long time, and I've just kept it. Orange sapphire of a quarterback color match. I wasn't necessarily a huge believer in Talon Green entering the season. I knew, hey, dual threat guy, big. How big is he? 6'6", 220. I was never stocking up on him, but this was one where I'm like, okay, it's one of my few Talon Green pieces. I might as well just list it up at $30. I would get offers at $15 all the time. He blew up on Thursday night against University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, one of the worst teams in the country. I think they won 2 games last year. They might only win 1 game. They play Arkansas Baptist this week. They're at NAIA school, so that might be their only win. But regardless, he put up stupid numbers. I think 4 touchdowns in total. We'll see. People are optimistic with his Bobby Petrino offense now that he's back. I don't know. We'll see, but for me, just where his prices were. I sold a Sapphire Auto on ComC. I bought that for $35 about 2 weeks ago, I want to say, and it sold for over $100 through eBay. ComC and eBay have all the same listings. ComC will cross-list your item onto eBay, and they add like 20% to it to account for eBay fees and all of that. So the buyer probably all in paid $130 for this Sapphire Auto. Just insane. ComC also one of my best weekends ever. I'm already at like $700 for the first 2 days. Incredible run there. Been my best weekend of sales of all time in cards. So awesome to see. Talon Green, I am selling out personally. It's not worth a hold to me. Where his prices are, I'm happy to get out. I'll take my money. I don't need to get greedy and be like, oh, what if he's a Heisman contender? Like, what if he actually turns Arkansas around? I don't care. All right, Cooper DeJean. This one sold on Mercari. I listed a bunch of these. This is my 3rd sale on Mercari. Is it viable? I'm sure it is, but for me, I'm like, it is what it is. So I think this was like $3 or $4. I've sold 3 cards for a total of $10 now. Not much to it. My only NFL card. Everything else is literally all college, but cool. I'm just going to leave it up for a while. Maybe there's more traction once the NFL season starts this weekend. I don't know. I'm not an NFL guy. I will focus all my energy on college, and I will casually watch whatever the local game is. All right, next one up, Thomas Castellanos, Black Auto. I'm a little sad this sold. I didn't realize I had this for $19.99. For me, I probably should have listed this at $29.99, but I'm also not a huge Thomas Castellanos guy where I'm like, I'm going to hold a couple big pieces just in case. I also have 3. I sent all of his autos to ComC, so I've got 3 there that I can bump up, but this is a very cool one with the black ice, numbered 1 of 4. Upset win versus Florida State. I've talked about it a lot. Florida State, I'm not high on. I anticipated not quite a UW fall, but a TCU type fall off. You just can't lose that much NFL talent. Bring in DJ Uiagalelei, who's magically a college football playoff contender. Just not for me. I think it's very unfair that they had those expectations just because of their team that they had. It was, you look at last year's roster and this year's roster, you cannot even compare. I don't know where those expectations came from, but it is what it is. I was not expecting Boston College to win. I was expecting them to be competitive. I'm not, Thomas Castellanos is not a good passer. It showed, but he's a good runner, and they've got a good run game. Kyle Robichaux kind of took over. Trayshawn Ward was probably the player of the game for them. I think over 130 yards. So I'm a sick individual. I enjoy watching Florida State's downfall just because I was correct about that assessment and just seeing them 0-2. They've got Memphis this upcoming week. I think they lose that game now. I don't think that they can score. Memphis is going to put up 45 points. Easy. So we'll see. Don't be surprised. I said don't be surprised when Georgia Tech wins. I didn't really say anything about Boston College, but nonetheless, I'm not shocked. Cameron Ward, you'll see 3 or 4 of these. This is probably one of my best scoops of July, maybe August. Probably August at this point. This is probably one of my best buys of August. I bought 13 of these for $3 a piece. I've probably sold 5 or 6 of these, anywhere from $10 to $14 now. I sold one on ComC, I think, for $10. I sold a couple already for 12, and then I've been slowly jumping up my price, and they've just been selling. So Cam Ward, his only card in a Miami jersey, had a great game. People say he's the Heisman front runner. At this point, I don't really care, but it is all part of the hype in terms of cards. So you gotta, take it when you get it. So Cam Ward, I like him. I am heavily invested more in the Leaf and Onyx autos, not necessarily his Bowman stuff. It made sense. You were able to buy those autos for $10 a piece, and I probably put $100 into those, so nothing too crazy. I did buy a lot of his firsts on ComC, just base. Anytime those base cards are under 75 cents, I usually buy them up. Him, Jackson Dart, Ty Simpson, guys like that I believe in. Xavier Restrepo, so his number one receiver, I think he had 7 catches for like 114 yards and a touchdown. Xavier Restrepo, I was high on. I'm waiting. I have like 3 autos that are at ComC, and they're supposed to get uploaded by the 3rd. I think today's the 2nd. Maybe today's the 3rd. I think, or maybe it was the 4th. I don't know. They're supposed to get uploaded, and there's like 30 cards left that haven't been, and there's a couple of these. So I'm excited to get those in. This sold for $20. It is an on-card auto, which is sick. These next levels out of Sage are pretty cool. Xavier could lead the country in receptions and or yards this year. I really believe in Xavier Restrepo. They do have Colby Young. I think he had like 2 catches, 15 yards, a little underwhelming. And then I'm trying to think of the rest of their offense. Damian Martinez had a decent game. And then that other running back that they had, Calvin, I don't remember. That doesn't sound right. He had 2 touchdowns with like 50 yards. Caleb Williams, Gold Sapphires. I got an offer on 2 of these for $35 the other day, and when I get offers on eBay, I just let them sit for the most part if I'm not going to accept it. Am I a bad person for, knowingly not accepting their offer and still holding their funds? Sure. Call me a villain, whatever. But I like it because it'll show one competing offer. I think it drives a lot of traffic. I have probably 25 offers right now on all my items. It's just been bananas. And I thought about it, but I was like, I'm not in a rush to sell Michaela Williams right now. It's not like she had a bad performance recently, and it's gold, color match, LSU, all sorts of good things. And then they finally just bought them straight up, $20 a piece. So not bad. And then I reinvested these funds in I took $14 from ComC and I bought a Bowman Best auto. So I'm happy to, get out of a Sapphire and just, pick up an auto at that point. I don't know. I think I bought one of these on Twitter for like $7. I guess price-wise, let's recap. That I think I picked up in a lot. That I ripped. Probably paid 10 on these. I paid 3. Probably got that for like $8. Sold it for 20. And then these, I probably paid about $10 a piece there. All right, Carson Steele prospects. I forgot what they call these. I forgot what this is. Opulent? I don't know. Some sort of like 3D design or something. You can kind of see his chest, his numbers kind of moving there. Carson Steele, I bought this on a whim. It was sent in the Good Deals Discord Good Deals channel on my Discord. Link is down below, free to join. And I just picked up a Carson Steele auto earlier that week for $15 when they were doing about 30, and then they were doing 100. And I was like, you know what? Carson Steele, if people are buying this was listed $50 OBO. The next cheapest bin was like $200 or $250. I'm like, I'm in the money. I'm willing to take the chance with that other auto. I can sell that one worst case for $75. I'm into this one for nothing then, and whatever I get. Did I shoot myself in the foot? Perhaps, but I sold that first auto for like $125, netting about $100. This one I got for $50. You won't see it in a mail day video because I knew time was of the essence, so I needed to get this out. Listed it for $100. I was like, all right, anything over 50, I'm fine with. It's all profit. If I need to get out of it, whatever. Sent a couple offers for $75. Thought that was, hey, I'll get out, make my $15. And then someone straight up bought it for $100. So not bad. I've made probably $140-ish on Carson Steele. This card in particular, it's like the box topper for 2024 Pro Set. I'm not super familiar. I haven't watched a ton of Pro Set rips, but that's my understanding. Carson Steele now with Kansas City. His prices, if you see him in a value bin, your LCS, a card show, pick up Carson Steele. No one's going to know who he is except for us. So that was a good flip. I like it. All right, another Cam Ward. I think, like I said, I sold 3 or 4 of these this weekend. Justice Haynes. Nice weekend for the kid. 4 carries, I think 104 yards and a touchdown. I got this at the State Show for about 15 bucks. That's about comps, but I felt good just kind of knowing scarcity, one. Two, Justice Haynes doesn't have, I think, a refractor auto. So I think his base autos, like you can catch them, probably a base auto that you can find for like $5 to $10, and they easily sell between $20 and $30. You know, it's a refractor auto, and maybe he does have a yellow and green. I feel like there's another auto that he just doesn't have, and that's happened a couple times. Like Cade Klubnik, I don't think has any refractor autos. I don't think he does. I don't know why that is the case. There's a couple of players who have they don't have green autos or whatever the case may be. This one sold for 35. I was happy about it. Justice Haynes, I am somewhat invested in him. I just felt like he was the better back. Jam Miller did score twice, I believe, and he has cards on it, or Leaf. I think he's in pro set, so was happy with that though. I paid 15 and making, what is that? Why can't I do math? Making 15 bucks on that, and I'm sure I've made money on that card show in general. Blake Chapin, not a guy that I was buying, not a guy I was really buying. I don't really believe in him like that. He did have 4 or 5 touchdowns. I don't remember who they played. He had 3 passing or 4 passing and a rushing. Mississippi State's going to be terrible. I expect them to lose to Arizona State this upcoming weekend. I don't know where that game is played. It might be at ASU. I think ASU, they have like 8 or 9 home games. Pretty crazy scheduling, if I remember correctly. Or maybe that was last year. I don't remember, but Blake Chapin, not a guy. I think this is my only other auto of his, and I'm not. Mississippi State's going to be terrible. They will be terrible, but glad to get out of that for 30 bucks. Again, with some of these quarterbacks, all it takes is one big game, and especially like A&M Prairie View or whoever these guys are playing, they're going to put up numbers and people are going to buy. All right, Kyron Drones, 1/1 auto out of Mania. I paid about $56 all in on this, and everyone was high on Virginia Tech. They're like, oh my God, they return, me included, they returned 22 starters. Kyron Drones, you look at their season last year, he wasn't the starter. It was the kid who's at Marshall now, Grant Wells, also in Bowman. I don't know where he is now. Maybe he's at Marshall now. I don't remember. But Kyron Drones took over, and they won. I mean, it was bad competition, but I think they finished the season like 5-2, 6-1, somewhere in that range. So there's reason for optimism. You finish the season like that. He's a dual threat guy. I don't think it's going to have his size. 6'2", 230. Pretty solid size there. You're wondering what the heck did Baylor not see in this kid to not start him. Nonetheless, Virginia Tech, again, had all the hype. They're returning 22 starters, the most in the country, and they go out and lose to Vanderbilt. For me, and I'm sure I've talked about it on videos. I talk about it on Discord all the time. I like Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's going to be a competitive team. I bet the over at 2.5. That's very disrespectful for them. They've got some players. New Mexico State won 10 games last year. They went to Auburn and beat them. Diego Pavia is a really good quarterback. He is a Tim Tebow light, I would imagine. He's going to give you everything that he has. He's going to lay it all on the line. He's going to take a hit. He's not afraid. He's a big dude. State champion wrestler in high school. He won a junior college national championship at New Mexico Military Institute, and then he goes to New Mexico State. He's just a baller, really, and I really enjoy watching him. Jerry Kill, their head coach, stepped down from New Mexico State and then just became like an analyst or a special assistant with Vanderbilt, and they brought all those boys over. Like I said, they can compete with Auburn. They won 10 games. Diego Pavia is the truth. Really believe in him. But everyone during that game, they're like, oh my God, Vanderbilt is trash. I'm like, historically, they're not good at all. But just understand that teams can improve. They can be competitive. They aren't going to win more than 4 games this season. They're going to be competitive, though. But again, people are just going to watch, the historical trends and, they only won 4 games. They must not be very good, right? So from that perspective, it makes me a little nervous on the Kyron Drones market because I'm one of the highest on Vanderbilt being a competitive team, but everyone else is like, oh my God, I'm just going to write off Virginia Tech. Their season's done. So there was a guy who had sent offers all week on this card. She started at 65, 70, 75, 80, and I think this was the last offer at 85. And I'm like, you know what? If he still offers this after the loss, I'll take it. I'll get out of it. Again, I'm not worried about Virginia Tech at the moment. It's very similar to Georgia Tech and Florida State. At the moment, Georgia Tech's a very good squad. They're going to be competitive. They're going to be the best 4 or 5 win team in the country, in my opinion. But people are like, oh my God, they're losing to Georgia Tech, like garbage. Now, Florida State, yes, I think it's a little bit of Florida State's down year and Georgia Tech playing up this year. But again, from a national perspective, I'm like, all right, people are probably out on Kyron Drones. I'll take my offer while I have it. Jonah Coleman, pink 3 of 7. I love Jonah Coleman. Started at Arizona, Stockton, California kid, bowling ball, 5'9", 230 pounds. And he split time with a lot of running backs during his career. Michael Wiley was the lead back out of Texas. And then who else was there that I'm blanking on? Oh, my goodness. Rayshawn Luke wasn't really in the mix. DJ Williams, he was a transfer from Florida State. He kind of split a lot of carries with them. Michael Wiley did have an injury last year, and Jonah kind of took over for the most part. DJ more of a goal line back, even though Coleman more than capable of that. He was kind of fresh legs, I guess. Jonah Coleman, I think like 16 carries, 137 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He's a beast. He is going to be someone to watch out for. I'm really excited for him. I don't care that he transferred from Arizona and left. I understand he was following Scotty Graham, the running backs coach. Great dude. I've talked to him a couple times here and there when he was at Arizona. Somewhat chatted with him on LinkedIn, coincidentally, over the summer. Jonah Coleman, I really like, and I'm a little bummed. This is jersey number as well. Sold it for $20. I love Jonah Coleman. I think he's a great running back. I'm excited to see what he does. I wish him the best. Everyone else, whatever. Jed Fish, I hope he never makes a bowl game. He's going to be Florida's coach. We'll talk about Florida in the next card. Another one of these, woohoo. I sold them between $12 and $14. I kept upping my price every time they sold. All right, DJ Lagway, blue, Vivid Futures, auto. Looks like he might start this week for Florida. Graham Mertz entered concussion protocol yesterday at practice. Monday, DJ was getting first team reps. People are I don't know what we're expecting. I mean, everyone going into the season was like, wow, Florida's not going to win, more than 3 games. That's the most brutal schedule in the country. And everyone thinks Florida sucks. Everyone is convinced that they're just the Vanderbilt of the SEC right now. I don't get it. You look at their roster, they've got talent, but going into the game, it's like everyone was like, yeah, Miami. The spread was 3. I think that made it suspicious. But, I mean, you look at the rosters top to bottom, and, of course, rivalry game, anything can happen, especially playing at home. Sure, you lose, 31 to 13 or whatever it was, or maybe it was even worse than that late. I don't know. People are calling for, God, who was their coaches? Oh, my God. I can see his face. My goodness. I'm blanking on his name, but people are calling for his head, and they're like, wow, yeah, this is not acceptable. And it's like, what were you? No one expected Florida to go to a bowl game. Like, yeah, it sucks losing to your rival that bad, I guess. And I don't know. Overreaction much? I think so. I don't know. Maybe they fire him. It would be hysterical if Jed Fish goes there. He's talked about how that's like his dream job. He started there with Spurrier as a student assistant, and he goes to Arizona. 3 days after they beat Oklahoma in the Alamo Bowl game, is like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm waiting for this long-term deal extension. And then a week later, he takes that UW job. And then at UW, at a basketball game, he was like, he pulled a LeBron. And he's like, I'm not here for 3 years. I'm here for 4 years, for 5, for 6, for 7. I'm like, guy, everyone in the country knows that you want this Florida job. And it's going to open up if it doesn't open up in this year, it's opening up next year for sure. But so DJ Lagway, the number 1 recruit in the country in terms of quarterback, I think he was number 3 overall. They say he's the truth. I don't know. I bought some autos of his, just prospecting, more of a long-term hold. I would have preferred if he did not play at all this season, because I like the hype and the allure and the mystery when a guy doesn't play. Like Hendon Hooker, preseason, or prior to this season, in preseason, did not really play. So his market was just kind of there. Granted, he did go up, but what I'm trying to get at is if a quarterback goes in a la Dante Moore and doesn't perform at a super high level, his card starts to tank. So we could see maybe DJ balls out and his market explodes, right? But I'd rather just have that uncertainty where it buys a whole year of hype, and everyone, in the country is like, hey, just wait till next year. and I'm still blanking on this Florida coach's name. I can see his face. Good God, this is frustrating. You're just waiting and like, oh, okay, just wait. DJ Lagway sat a year, like all that hype in the summer. Now it slows it down, which I don't love. Cameron Ward, Reflector. This was also in the Good Deals Discord. Shout out Prod. I think he sent this. I threw out an offer for like $8 plus $1 shipping. I think I'm all in like 11-ish. Sold it for $21 shipped. Cam Ward, I got so much. This is the stuff I was buying. I wasn't buying his Bowman. I thought that was overpriced for being a transfer jersey. I don't like transfer jersey licensed products. I just don't think collectors of the new team necessarily want it. And I don't know. It is what it is. Normally people will ask like, hey, if they have, I had this question this morning, if they have a Bowman card, but also Leaf, does it tank the Leaf product? Not necessarily, and especially with the transfer market. If they're not transfers, yes, I only buy a Bowman exclusively. I don't mess with unlicensed. You can get good value on unlicensed, but I'm going to stick with the first Bowman branded licensed stuff. When it comes to this now, I thought it was incredible value. You're paying, $25 for a Bowman Best base auto or $10 for these autos. So I like that as well. And they're numbered, which kind of helps. Garrett Nussmeier played a great game versus USC, and this one sold before the game, actually. I like this card. I figured this out. So I got this card in my mail day, and I'm like, where the hell did I get this card from? I searched my purchases. I searched Mercari. I searched everywhere. Buysportscards.com, Sport Lots. I could not remember where I got this in my Discord. Precious Paper Sports Cards. Got this for $20, listed it for $40, and it sold. Garrett Nussmeier, one of those guys that I wasn't sure of the hype. You see him preseason, and he was like top 6 quarterbacks in the draft, top 10 Heisman contender, a top 5 Heisman sleeper. I didn't necessarily see it, but he did play a really good game against USC. So we'll see what his future looks like. I sold his 1-of-1 on ComC, bought it for $35 probably last November and sold it for $185. That was a great flip. Garrett Nussmeier, not a guy that I'm going to be like stashing, but I did up all my prices. That's why I like the value plays. I like buying 5 to 6 low to mid-end autos, and it's like, all right, I sold one, cool, made my profit. Market is kind of heating up. I'm going to jump my prices up. I just like having multiple exits as opposed to buying one big, massive card, and it's like, oh, you get those decisions, and it's like, oh, should I just get out now? I don't want to lose my only piece. What if it continues to go up? If you buy multiple of autos, you don't have to really worry about that. So that's why I like it. I'm a value guy. Another Cam Ward. So that was what, like I said, the 4th or 5th. Travis Hunter, Sapphire. This one sold, I think, after the game on Thursday for $20. I've got probably 10 of these listed in a quantity, and it just sold. I think it sold promoted listing as well. I think you could probably get them for $15 to $18, but mine sold at $20, so I was happy about that. Travis Hunter, I thought was one of the best buys in the offseason, if not the best. I just feel like, I've said it before, he's going to have all the attention and all these tweets leading up to the season, like, oh, he's the Shohei Ohtani of college football and all of this, and he's going to be on every highlight play. Everyone's talking about Colorado, whether you hate them or love them. 5.9 million viewers for that game. For NDSU, for an FCS team, we had 5.9 million people watching a team that won 4 games last year. Everyone was clowning on them and said, oh my God, you won 1 conference game and you can't even make a bowl game, and an FCS team, and you're telling me 5.9 million people were watching it? Yeah, don't tell me that Colorado doesn't get, they're just polarizing, I guess. I don't know. But so, yeah, whatever. Roger Robinson, this one sold before the Georgia game, and he was already ruled out. So Trevor Etienne sat out, 1-game suspension. Roderick Robinson's been dealing with turf toe for the last few weeks, and they announced him out. Branson Robinson, no relation, was going to be the starter. And then they had this kid, what was his name? Frazier, from Mater Dei, a 2024 kid, true freshman, who's also in 2024 press pass. Good to know. But this one sold for $20, and I'm cool with it, especially if he's hurt. I do believe in him, but if someone's going to buy it, I've got a couple more 101s and things like that. All right, someone came up and offered on both of these, I think 225 in total. Bought this in a stack sale for $45 not long ago. Got an offer for $115, I think, $125. I had it for $150. Decided to take it, felt good. There's a PSA 9 that I think did $110. and a few others that made me feel good about that. And then this one I picked up recently, and I'm glad that I'm able to get out of it. There's that little dimple right there. And that could have been a hard sell. There was one, and this was before his game. So he had 6 touchdowns in that game against, who was it? Albany. I don't know, it was a purple school. I don't remember. Furman. God, Albany. So yeah, I was just happy to get out of him. Could I have gotten more when it comes to, his market? Sure, but I just felt good getting out now. Theo Weiss, Red Wave, 1 of 1 auto, PSA 9. I think this sold for $40. It was part of that lot that I'm like, oh my God, I got cooked. Why did I buy it? I bought like 8 slabs for $160. I'm slowly piecing it out. I think I'll be okay. Doubling up on a lot of them, which has been good. Theo Weiss, kind of a sleeper pick for me. I'm like, all right, all the attention's on Luther Burden. I think Theo Weiss can kind of take advantage of that. A la like Tetro McMillan and Jacob Cowing, very similar to that, I felt. Don't think he did a whole lot against, God, who did they play? Really terrible team. One of the worst teams in the country. Billy Napier. Billy Napier is the Florida coach. There we go. Golly. Now if I could figure out who did Missouri just play? I don't know. And then the first sale that occurred, Caleb Downs, gold auto. Bought this, I think, for $50. I snap bought it. I just thought it was a really good deal. $50 for the third best defensive player in the country, and he was a true freshman. His only card, I think he is on it with some autos, but yeah, that one I felt really good about. Listed it for $100. There were a couple buy it nows that were holding me down at like 65, 75, but I guess those must have sold. I don't know. I'd never checked, but sold it for $100. So that's everything. I think it was like 24 cards, over $1,000. I think $1,040 is what my eBay said. So just an insane weekend of, there's 300 right there between those three. And then just the rest, all kind of $60 on the Lagway. I don't know if I said that. 20, 85, 30, 35. We'll say $12 average there, 100 right there. Michaela Williams, $40. People tell me college cards don't sell. People say unlicensed cards don't sell. Women's basketball doesn't sell. If I listen to these people, I wouldn't be where I am today. So believe in yourself. If you enjoyed, if you learned something new, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe, say a prayer to the haters, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace. Love you.